Oh, hello, Internet. Good to see you again. Been a little while. Yeah. So, in the pregame show, that is December 27th, there's quite a bit of a development happening in the world of trading. Now, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and all that if you celebrate that particular holiday. And I hope that you all had a happy Boxing Day. If you celebrate, gave your postman or postwoman or mail carrier or delivery person, package person, a nice gift for all the deliveries they brought you throughout the year and for the holiday season. If you all remember, that is what Boxing Day is all about. I know most people have no idea what Boxing Day is about, but that is in fact what that holiday is about. To celebrate those who bring you the boxes during the holiday season especially, but also throughout the year. In other words, it's a holiday for professionals who do a certain task, or in honor of professionals who do a certain task that affects a lot of people. And of course, once upon a time, before email, before interwebs, a lot of things came through the mailboxes that we all have when we live in homes, apartments or houses. Right? We all have mailboxes thanks to the mail service or the postal service that exists in whatever country you happen to live in. Not all countries, but most do. And of course, there used to be a lot of mail in those mailboxes. A lot more in person. When was the last time you actually sent something? You wrote by hand. This is a letter to a friend, right? Or to somebody in business, or a relative, or anybody. Nowadays, people send information electronically for the most part. A lot of people can barely even handwrite anymore. And once they leave school, their handwriting gets worse and worse and worse. What does this say about society? Well, it says that we value our time, and therefore we find ways to communicate that are as efficient as possible. What does this say about our sense of sensitivity and caring for our fellow human being? Well, the less time you spend investing in the communication with somebody, the more that person receiving the communication may perceive that when it comes to personal communications, you may not care as much, or the message may not be as important. But also the fact is that technology changed, enabling us to send more messages back and forth. So in a sense, just because I'm not sending every letter, every message that I send to somebody in an envelope, doesn't mean I care less. If anything, if I'm sending a lot of messages to a person, it shows that I care about them a lot. Even if I'm sending them electronically, because I'm still investing a lot of time. Now, are you investing as much time if you don't care about being sloppy with typos and grammatic errors? Right? Are you investing as much time if you're talking into your machine instead of typing it? Or just using emojis instead of typing words? These are all great points of discussion and debate, which I would love to have with anybody who has the counterpoints to make. I'd be happy to have that discussion. But the fact is, people are still investing time in communicating with other people. It's just that the modalities of speech have changed. And yes, very old people who are, I mean, even people in their 80s today were using the internet while they were still working. Some of them, not everybody, but a lot of them. And people who are, okay, arguably people who are in their 90s or older never really had to use the internet, except by choice to communicate with family and friends and whatever, but they didn't necessarily need to use it. And there aren't, the world isn't populated, unfortunately, by so many people in their 90s and older. So pretty much everyone today has used the internet as well, not everyone, but more than a third. At this point, it's almost a half of humanity, somewhere between a third and a half of humanity, have used the internet, and arguably more, but have used the internet. And in doing so, the vast majority have sent a message to somebody, right? At least one person. And so they've written informal messages or messages that had a certain lack of formality. What does this mean? This means that over time, language is changing, right? Just like the title of this video. Did I write "Go Live on Satoshis"? Or did I write "Go Live on Satoshis"? Right? Well, before the advent of telecommunications, there'd be no question that what I wrote would be "Go Live on Satoshis." But since the advent of communications, how can you be sure? Maybe I wrote "Go Live on Satoshis." Maybe if you know me, you know the answer to that already. I would even argue, if you know me, you definitely know the answer to that question already. Whether I said "Go Live on" or "Go Live on." Definitely had some nice ducks here today. Seen them, greeted them, and they flew very nicely around, back and forth. So the point is, as you can see, modalities of speech change a lot based on time, technology, even location, and the person with which you're communicating, or the people with which you're communicating, right? A lot of that is very distinct, and the properties of these modalities change based on many factors. So, why do I mention this? I mention this because language is obviously one of the main aspects of not just communications in general, but marketing specifically. And this is a channel about marketing. Oh, look, our ducky friends. There's at least one of them. So, hello, Mr. Ducky. Did your girlfriend duck fly away? So as language evolves, marketing evolves. Marketing becomes an essential part of communications as time goes on, because marketing becomes more and more important over time. And the language of the marketing evolves as well, right? 50 years ago, marketing language was a lot wordier in some sense. 100 years ago, it was far wordier, right? When it was kind of starting out, coming out of, beyond the Victorian era and into the, the later stages of the Industrial Revolution, right? Beginning the last sort of 100 years of it until the point where it got into the information age, the age of technology and all of that. And so the modalities of marketing and the way we speak and the way we write and the way we communicate are all very nice. They're all very important. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. 3 duckies. How nice. 3 duckies flying over a field. I love nature. So why am I saying this? And as you sit there and laugh at my horribly edited, not edited, I should say, videos, that's fine. Remember what I'm telling you. Again, 1, 2, 3. 3 little duckies. Having fun. They go around in a circle, they come right back to where they started, the little ravine of water. The reason that you may find value in this video, despite all the silly shenanigans, is if you haven't thought about the modalities of speech and writing and communications, and the fact that we use different modalities of communications as time goes on and as technology changes and all that. It may be that you're one of the people who's just getting into marketing, or you've done it for a long time and it never occurred to you how very time and technology specific communications is. Right? And it definitely is time and tech specific. Right? It most certainly is. And so, think about that as you create your marketing material and messaging. Because it's not about just keeping up formalities that matter. Yes, formalities matter in many circumstances. However, when you're trying to be effective with a message to market something, you'll find that very often the most effective marketing campaigns take formalities and usually break one side of the box, so to speak. Right? They'll be a little bit creative to stand out a little bit from the pack. And they won't go all out and make themselves look like, you're not going to find Apple rebranding itself as a company that's just a bunch of punk anarchists who don't care about anything, including the quality of their product. Right? Unless they're doing a specific campaign or a specific thing that demonstrates that even if you don't care about the quality of the product itself is still very high in terms of quality. Right? And even then, they would do certain things to show that they're a serious company, etc. Because there's too much at stake when you're $1 trillion company to be futzing around with goofy marketing. And they know that. At the same time, they don't want to be seen as just boring. Right? Part of the reason Apple grew the way it did, especially from the mid-90s when Steve Jobs, or the late 90s really, when Steve Jobs came back and gave the world the iMac and Eventually the iPhone and iPad and all those things. What is it that made them great? Well, it's kind of the thing that always made them great in a way. Their system is very high quality on whatever device they sell you. It's a high quality product. Okay, I know that has its detractors, whatever. It's a high quality product. It's usually very user friendly, meaning it's relatively easy to use. And the perception of it through the branding and the marketing messaging is a touch unorthodox. Okay, so it's slightly informal. So an ad with a guy in a suit standing next to a guy in, a sweater and jeans, or a t-shirt and jeans, depending on the season of the ad. And the guy in the suit represents the old school old world, stodgy world of IBM, and the guy in the sweater and jeans represents the kind of laid-back, cool Apple brand. That sort of thing. And you can learn a lot from that one ad series that they did, right? With the kind of younger, cooler guy talking to the slightly older, slightly more conservative, kind of stodgier other guy who represents like the IBM world. And that was a huge deal in their growth and their marketing success. So, in any case, I hope you got something out of that, and that you have a happy and wonderful day in marketing.